is Top Accolade Global News Updates. I am Soy Bifa Jackridge. 2 U.S. fighters jet struck weapons and ammunition facilities in Syria on Friday in retaliation for attacks on U.S. forces by Iranian-backed militia as concerns grew that the Israel-Hamas conflict may spread in the Middle East. U.S. President Joe Biden ordered strikes on the 2 facilities used by Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps and military group that it backs. The Pentagon said, warning the U.S. will take additional measures if attacks by Iran proxies continue. U.S. and coalition troops have been attacked at least 19 times in Iraq and in Syria by Iran-backed forces in the past week. Hamas, Islamic Jihad and Lebanon's Hezbollah are all backed by Tehran. The U.S. airstrikes took place at roughly 4:30 a.m. on Friday, 0130 GMT near Abu Kamal, a Syrian town on the border with Iraq, and were carried out by 2 F-16 fighters jets using precision munitions. A U.S. defense official said these precision self-defense strikes are a response to a series of ongoing and mostly unsuccessful attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and in Syria by Iranian-backed military groups that began on October 17th, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement. Biden has sent a rare message to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, warning Tehran against targeting U.S. personnel in the Middle East, the White House said earlier on Thursday. Boeing's defense business is proving harder to turn around than executives initially predicted, with suppliers' error and high manufacturing costs contributing to $1.7 billion in losses this year on programs like the next Air Force One and NASA's Starliner's capsule. Despite absorbing $4.4 billion in losses in 2022, which executives said would lower the risk of future cost overruns, the unit has seen little improvement this year. Boeing is unique among its defense contractors peers, as companies like Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, and RTX are seeing higher revenues due to demand from the war in Ukraine. Unlike those companies, however, Boeing is locked into a handful of contracts that force the plane maker to take a loss when technology development goes over budgets. The defense unit's losses this year include $933 million in charges in the third quarter, mostly comprising a $482 million loss building 2 Air Force One plane and a $315 million charge on an unidentified satellite program that had not been previously lost money. Boeing's executive said they are putting in place new training and deploying resources to suppliers to ensure the unit moves from negative margins to high single-digit margins by 2025 to 2026, when its most troubled programs are slated to be past flight testing and on more stable footing. Brian Callan, a defense analyst with Capital Alpha Partners, said Boeing's 2025 to 2026 timeline to get to positive margins is feasible, but questioned why it took the company years to institute programs to improve execution. Boeing shares have lost 6% this year, compared with the broad market S&P 500's 9% gain. Taiwan's chip industry is ready to work with the government to achieve its 2050 net zero goal, but development of renewable energy sources needs to be hastened as demand for artificial intelligence booms. A top industry executive said on Friday, Taiwan imports nearly all its energy needs, mostly in the form of natural gas and coal, but has embarked on a big push for more renewable energy to achieve its carbon neutral targets. Cliff Hall, a senior vice president at the world's largest contract chip maker, TSMC, said AI offered an opportunity rarely encountered in decades. Looking forward, how do we master major trends such as AI? Hall said, I think the entire Taiwan semiconductor industry in our essence is our R&D and manufacturing, and in our global layout will undergo a comprehensive improvement and transformation. Key to the development of the industry is stable and renewable energy, Hall, the chairman of the Taiwan Semiconductor Industry Association, told its annual meeting in the chip hub of Hsinchu. Last month, the association made 4 key appeals to the government, among them the stable supply of green energy, as Taiwan's chip industry aims to seize the AI opportunity. Hall said, in terms of energy, we hope that the government can, in every aspect, more actively develop new energy sources and maintain stability of supply to the semiconductor industry, Hall added. But, yeah, we have encountered several challenges, he said. The supply of net zero energy currently lags the demand of our entire semiconductor industry. We hope that the government can speed up the pace of developing new energy sources. As machines parts producer S&D Blech, the head of the grinding unit, is retiring, with Germany's acute labor shortage leaving few candidates to take on the skilled but dirty and hazardous manual work. The company will replace him with a robot. Other small and medium-sized companies are also turning to automation as the gradual exit from the workplace of Germany's post-war baby boom. Generations tighten the labor squeeze. Some 1.7 million German jobs were unfilled in June, official data shows. The German Chambers of Commerce and Industry says more than half of companies are struggling to fill vacancies. At an estimated cost to growth in Europe's largest economy of nearly 100 billion euros, that is $109 billion per year. Managing Director Henning Schloder cited that trend to explain as Blech's push over several years towards automation and digitalization, saying this will further aggravate the already difficult skilled labor situation, particularly in production and crafts. Finding a new head of the grinding unit was hard, not only because of all the experience he has, but also because it's a back-breaking job that no one wants to do anymore. Machine grinding involves high hits and continuous noise, while the sparks it throws out can be dangerous. More women working on a surge in immigration have helped compensate for demographic changes in recent years in Germany. But with baby boomers retiring and a new cohort, much smaller due to low birth rates, joining the labor force, the Federal Employment Agency expects the pool of workers to shrink by 7 million people by 2035. Healthcare companies who profit from treating obese and overweight patients are trying to convince investors that powerful new weight loss drugs won't shrink their businesses. The global market for obesity drugs could reach as much as $100 billion within a decade due to the effectiveness of Novo Nordisk's Wegovy and similar medicines. Such forecasts have prompted a sell-off in a wide range of companies, from makers of bariatric surgery devices to companies whose products address the health issues created by excess weight, from diabetes to sleep apnea. However, those companies and analysts point to the high prices of the weight loss drugs, uncertainty over long-term usage, and the potential lack of insurance coverage for the cost as potentially limiting the market for them in a long. The market is in a shoot first, ask questions later mood when it comes to weight loss drugs, said Nicholas Anderson, manager of the Thunberg International Growth Fund, which holds shares of Novo Nordisk. What's less clear on the loser side is who will actually be affected and how long will it take to show up in numbers. We expect it will take at least a decade to reach peak penetration of these products in the indicated population, Kenneth Stein, Boston Scientific's global chief medical officer, told investors on Thursday, adding that only a minority of obese American patients will use the drugs. Boston Scientific said the effect of the company's heart devices would be very limited. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Friday.